project is called Dos Puertas International Trade and Innovation Center. This was undertaken by the San Diego chapter in collaboration with the University of California, San Diego, and it supported a market study. You're going to hear all about the details of this, to create a cross-border business facility and center along the U.S.-Mexico border. Carl Nettleton will be our first speaker here. Carl is an acclaimed speaker. He's an award-winning writer, and he's been working on this one a long time.
And before I start, I'm not a developer, but I've become one. And I'm a policy guy, kind of at the intersection of water and oceans and climate. And in 2008, I was the founding co-chair of a group called the Tijuana River Valley Recovery Team, a binational water quality issue. Had 30 agencies on both sides of the border, and found out how really difficult it was to have meetings. It's 2-hour waits at the border. Folks from Mexico had to get visas to come across for maybe a 15-minute agenda item. And so at a presentation about our work at the Border Environmental Cooperation Commission and the North American Development Bank, they had a joint board meeting. They're now one organization. At the very end of the presentation, I said, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we had a place where we could go in one door on our side of the border, they could go in on their side, we could meet and go back out. And I kind of imagined a place where you could, lay out some sandwiches and a coffee maker, and we could have our meetings. And it resonated, and kind of way led on to way, and led on to way, and led on to way. And the result was this concept called Dos Puertas, where we want to change the paradigm and make the border as a place where you can come together. And just for those of you who aren't familiar with the San Diego-Tijuana relationship, it's San Diego County has 3.2 million people, the municipality of Tijuana 1.8, and we're really both in the cul-de-sacs of our countries. And we're kind of invisible to Washington, invisible to Mexico City, and we look a lot towards each other for the economy, for our cultures, for our friendships. And there's a great deal of families on both sides of the border and businesses on both sides of the border. And yet you got 70,000 cars coming across that border daily, and nearly 70 million both ways annually. And big trade, 59.5 billion is a trade, and manufacturing supply chain of 2.5 billion. It's important that we are together in some way. But we got long border waits, sometimes as much as 2 hours. Like I said, it's difficult to get visas for Mexican nationals. Traveling in Tijuana by car is uncomfortable to folks from the U.S. side. And the San Diego Association of Governments thinks there's about a $7 billion annual loss in GDP in the region because of border waits. And the solutions have always been on how to make it easier to get across. Whether it's people, goods, vehicles, how do you get it across? But history shows that pent-up demand, even if you add more lanes, you add more Customs and Border Protection folks, you need to do that, but it's like adding lanes to a highway. It increases the demand. It always goes back to 2 to 3 hours. And the real challenge is, how do we come together as people? So the idea for Dos Puertas, this was the simple first drawing. Parking on both sides, a building in the middle, and security at each of 2 doors, so when you went in one door, you could not go out the other door. And using some technology, and that square that says Dos Puertas in the middle is not a simple thing anymore. It's probably going to be a 20 to 40,000 square foot facility with a full-scale restaurant, the quality kind of things that you see at a hotel like this, meeting rooms, and the kind of amenities that the cross-border business, academic, and other communities will find satisfactory to bring us together. Well, so it changes the paradigm. No border waits, no need for visas, no discomforting of traveling in the other country. So there's one more challenge, though. I made the presentation in 2011, and way led on to way. We started putting together a team. We had some visuals. We started putting together pro formas, but there's no comparable facility anywhere except maybe the Korean DMZ. And I think you'll agree that's probably not the right model. Although it's getting better, maybe, who knows? We'll see, as somebody famous says. There's limited data to analyze. We conferred with JLL, and they said, we can do some kind of a 6-figure study for you, but we have to collect all the data firsthand because there isn't any. And so that was the obstacle, and the potential investors that we talked to, although interested, had no model. There was no way they could calculate REI because there was no history that they could go from. So the solution, which came to us in an inadvertent way, as those kinds of things often do, was San Diego State University's Center for International Business Education and Research and their Global Business Partnership Program. And they said, we can bring together 8 graduate students, 6 MBA candidates, and 2 in international affairs from 4 universities, and John already outlined those universities, which are the 3 top universities in San Diego, and CETIS is an accredited, U.S. accredited university in Mexico that's actually thinking about starting a campus in the U.S., and put together a great team. And this team assessment will help us building size, format, and design, the land to secure, the revenue assessment, and pro forma finalization. We thought this study would help us to figure out how to engage potential customers in the vision so they could start thinking about and sharing with us how to benefit from an opportunity that never existed before. And because as we learned, one of the most important things we learned in the study was that, you know, Carl, we never believed this could happen, because they're so focused on trying to increase lanes and do all the things that they want government to spend money on to cross the border, that they never really conceptualized that a privately funded project in a place where that funding, where that demand would be there, could actually get done. And so this opened their eyes. So with the funding from Land Economics Foundation made it possible, $10,000 for the project program, and then we had some student field research funds, and I'm happy to say that we initially thought it was going to be $20,000, and we skinnied it down to a little over 11. So there we go. So thank you very much. It was really the key to getting us to the next step, but the real key to getting us to the next step. And I want to introduce Hana Pruzansky, who was the team lead for those 8 students. You've already heard her background. She's an MBA student at the University of San Diego. And I remember the first time I met her, I'm a kind of tall guy, and Hana's not quite as tall as I am. And I'm looking down at this person who's looking at me. I said, this is really exciting. I want to be part of this. And she ended up being the team lead. So let me hand over to the brains of the operation and let her tell you what we did.
I am so excited to be speaking with you today and share with you the work that we did. To really highlight the uniqueness of this project, I was emailed about being on this project, and I was a little confused because it said, we're only choosing 1 or 2 University of San Diego MBA students, and you're going to be on a team with MBA students from San Diego State and UC San Diego, as well as 3 from Mexico. So that was very exciting, and it was a real live project. Being in San Diego, you can't escape the relevance of border crossing. The San Diego-Tijuana border is the most crossed border daily in the entire world. So having this be in our backyard and having a real life opportunity to work on it with such a diverse team was really incredible, and I hope you could see the magic that came from it as I walk you through our project. So just to show you a quick background of the diversity from our team, Pamela is from CETIS MBA, representing the Mexicali campus, and she works as an engineer and as section manager down there. Arturo Gonzalez has a background in Tijuana. He came from the Tijuana campus and worked a lot with the local government there. Getsemani from CETIS Ensenada campus. She is a marketing wizard, and she was incredibly valuable for our team. These are the 2 students from the graduate program for international affairs from UC San Diego. Brian worked in manufacturing in China for 5 years and had a strong interest in greening up supply chain. And Richard Banks worked as community development in a startup in Mexico. And then Deepti from San Diego State had over 10 years of engineering experience, as well as Gaurav, who worked for 15 years for Qualcomm. So that was our team with the 8 of us. And we called our team Unidos Puertas. Unidos meaning united in Spanish, and Dos Puertas for the name of the project. We met weekly as a team for a semester, so this was a semester-long project of a few months. And as well as just meeting weekly, by phone or virtually, because there's huge geographic gaps in where we were able to meet on these off-site weekend workshops in Mexico on all 3 campuses from CETIS in 3 different occasions, where there's 3 days of uninterrupted in-person collaboration, taking best practices from our respective universities, from top-tier faculty, to really figure out how to do this feasibility and market study. We operated as a true consulting team. We developed a scope of work with a letter of engagement. We operated under a non-disclosure. We accessed existing data at the expertise of our professors from all of our universities, and then we produced a feasibility study. So in doing all of this, not only could we get the knowledge from experts at our own universities, then we could come together and as a team decide what we thought the best practice was. And from that, we had a faculty advisor from San Diego State to oversee everything and make it professional. And we really got also real-life experience from Carl and his team and working with them throughout the whole project. So a little bit about the actual study we did and what we found. So the work, to make sure we had a comprehensive study, our objective 1 was a global analysis. Does something like this exist in the globe? If it does, it could be used as a benchmark, and we could see what the similarities or the uniquenesses are of this project. Objective 2 is a market analysis, essentially who is going to use it. Objective 3, amenities. If they use it, what do they need inside the building? Objective 4, who's going to use it, what are they going to need, and if it has all that, what are they going to pay for it? Then we prioritized a list of revenue streams and made our final recommendations. We conducted 99 in-person interviews between the 8 of us. We then gave out surveys over email. We had close-ended surveys as well as open-ended, and we were able to collect 62 close-ended